Tonight on CTV3 News, Minister of Education weighs in on issue faced by 18-year-old Shadir Manzanero, the student who is unable to register at BAGC because of his long hair. A metered water system for the communities of San Jose, San Pablo. Orange Walk beekeepers travel to Chile. They talk to us about their experience. And we'll tell you about the upgraded water system for Sarteneja village. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, September 14th, 2023.
That'll be $50. Thank you. Wait, hey, this 50 is a fake.
How do you know it's a fake?
What are you talking about, sir? How can I identify a genuine note from a fake note?
Well, a genuine 50 has a watermark with the jaguar and the written words of the 50, also a thread.
Know your money and know a fake one when you see it. Do not rely on any one security feature. Look for the clarity and quality of printing. The printed lines and colors should be sharp and clear. Feel the quality of the paper and the raised print. Hold the note up to the light to see the windowed security thread. It should form one complete line when held up to the light. The watermark and denominational electrotype. The Jaguar is the watermark in the $100 and $50 notes. The Sleeping Giant is the watermark in the $20, $10, $5, and $2 notes. The see-through feature. The parts of the design printed on the back should fit exactly within the unprinted areas of the front to form the complete design. Check the $100 note for the toucan hologram with the periwinkle flower overprint. Tilt it to see the small images of the toucan and the numeral 100. Check the $50 note for the green foil angelfish. Check even closer. Use an ultraviolet light to see the fluorescent features. Use a magnifier to see the microlettering. Tiny letters that read Central Bank of Belize and the value of the note. Stop the circulation of counterfeit Belize currency notes. Pass all counterfeits to the police at once. It is a criminal offense to hold or use a counterfeit. Be safe. Be sure. Know your money.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. The Belize Adventist Junior College is a semi-private tertiary level educational institution whose foundation for education aligns pretty much with Scripture. Currently, the institution finds itself in a major contention since they refuse to allow an 18-year-old student to complete his associate's degree at the institution because of his long hair. The affected student goes by the name of Shadir Manzanero, who took the issue to Facebook a few days ago, stating, and we quote, They assert that because of my hair length, I am unable to finish my year at BAJC. He says that he was informed. In the post, Manzanero further alleges that, quote, he could no longer be part of the student body. The decision, according to Manzanero, originated from the president of the Belize Adventist Union of SDA Churches. Manzanero further explains, as a Belizean, I am being deprived of my education, excluded and discriminated against because of my hair. While Manzanero is still attending classes, he is being denied the opportunity to register at the institution. However, in a very interesting turn of events, we found out that the Ministry of Education has no document that foresees the non-discrimination for student enrollment based on hair length. Here is how the Minister of Education generalized the ministry's policy on institutions barring students from enrollment because of hair length.
Why is it that we still keep seeing a new school year, a new hair discrimination issue? Why do we not have a policy from the Ministry of Education referencing precedents set actually in court that this is discrimination to do this?
We do have a policy. We do
But
have
it's
a
not
policy.
being enforced then, or what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, we have these isolated cases. The recent one I'm aware of, but we do have a policy. The ministry, I think, last year or so, when we had one or two cases, the ministry put out a very strong statement, policy statement, stating very clearly our position on this matter. It's unconstitutional. We, whenever these cases arise, we immediately address them and resolve them to the satisfaction of all parties involved. I don't think that it's fair to say there's no policy. There's a very clear policy. Some schools, from time to time, violate that policy, and we call them out, and we deal with them. But at the same time, people have to understand, yes, that schools do have the right to have certain rules and guidelines if you want to attend. But the length of your hair or your hairstyle is not one of them. Because some people want to throw out everything, school free for all. That's not the case. It cannot be a free for all. No, we deal with them by calling them in and making it very clear to them that if this is repeated, there will be penalties. We have to work with the schools. In many cases, it's a particular. We find out when we investigate these things. It's not the school administration. It's a teacher in a classroom enforcing their own rules. So that sort of thing we try to address and make sure that we meet with them and educate them about the policy of the Ministry of Education.
We tried reaching out to the school's dean for comment today, but we were told by the secretary that the dean is out of office for the day and he is refraining from making any public statements on the issue via the media. Notably, the Belize Adventist Junior College or its parent institution, the Belize Adventist Union of SDA Churches, have not issued any statement in regards to the matter. On the other hand, as we told you in our previous newscast, Shadir Manzanero has written to the ministry and is expecting a response in the next few days. A number of local beekeepers represented Belize at the Apimondia 48th International Apicultural Congress, which took place in Santiago, Chile earlier in September. Apimondia is the international organization of beekeeping associations that brings together scientists, specialists, and beekeepers from around the world to discuss crucial areas in the industry, like ensuring the sustainability of beekeeping in a changing world, value-added products from the hive, land use, biodiversity, and beekeeping. Among the Belizean delegation was chairlady of the Orange Walk Beekeepers Cooperative, Ileana Ayuso, who today shared more about her experience in Chile, which she says has opened the doors for local beekeepers to one day export their product.
It was a wonderful and excellent experience to meet other people. Here in Belize, some people take it, beekeepers are just people that don't have an education. And when you go out there, you see the professors, the scientists. It's so amazing to know their people are also interested in beekeeping because they found out that the bees is something very important in our life. So they get interested in it also. And for me, it was an excellent opportunity to be there. And I will also say thanks to the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Mai, and Procrasol and FAO. They were the ones that sponsored the trip for us to go to Apimundia. And I would love other beekeepers to go there and experience what we experience, especially persons who are, they love the beekeeping. It's an excellent experience. And to me, I see, know that I came back, we start work more into the beekeeping and see how we can work it. For all beekeepers countrywide, get together, get organized so that we can start the industrial over in Belize in the exporting the honey, especially with the contacts that I made. So I hope we go somewhere after this.
Being able to network with other beekeepers from around the world, Ayuso says that Belize's local industry is undoubtedly at par with many international counterparts, which paves the way to make exportation possible in the near future.
About the same level with them, because, and maybe a little bit better because we don't use any chemicals. Well, for me here in Orange Walk, we don't use chemicals in our hives. You know, for Varroa or small hive beetle, we had managed that pretty well, like the old time that we were taught, and that's how we're keeping it. So we don't use no chemicals, not even for the Varroa nor for the small hive beetle, which in other countries they have the problem. And so they have to be very careful because their honey could have the traces of chemicals, which we don't have that in Belize. So we are blessed with that part. And most of them, they are doing the beekeeping similar to what we are doing. You know, it's just to control the varroa mites and the small hive beetles and other diseases that the bees have. Thankful to God, we don't have any of those. We are free. So they were so amazed when I tell them how our bees there. We don't even know what is American fall brood. All those diseases we don't know. Majority of the beekeepers here in Belize don't know what it is.
Having returned to Belize with a wealth of knowledge, Ayuso says her work now begins to network with local beekeepers in an effort to boost the local production.
That is a job we're starting already with the Minister of Agriculture, with the Ministry of Agriculture, with Mr. Miguel Huertas and BMDC, and then Mr. Esquivel, I have spoke to him. So we're meeting on Monday to start this project, to start, you know, get all beekeepers together, see how we will work all of this, and see what will be the outcome.
What would it mean or what would it signify to local beekeepers to be able to one day see your product, being exported to international markets?
I think it means a lot to the beekeepers, you know, because it's an opportunity to market your product out there, and you know, it's an income for the country, for themselves, for their families, you know. So. And especially here in Belize, it's mostly the low-income people that are doing the beekeeping, and that will help them big if we get to export this honey. But we have to start with this. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm ready to push it, to go ahead, because that's what I have been doing with my beekeepers, my cooperative Orange Walk beekeepers. I call them my beekeepers. Sorry, but I call them my beekeepers, but you know, that's how we work, and we have everything in order. So we plan for, I hope other beekeepers countrywide listen to this and they are willing to join as groups to work together and have the traceability on their honey, like how my cooperative have it, and as they start for export the honey.
Tonight, Belize Rural South Area Representative Andre Perez remains on leave of absence after his request was accepted by Prime Minister John Briceño. With an investigation on his behavior being conducted after the eruption of a sex scandal, Perez thought it best to be on the sidelines as those in charge carry out their work. The government minister is accused of sexually harassing a female attorney by text and with explicit images. Perez has since made a legal claim against the attorney for extortion and is planning a criminal complaint under the Cybercrime Act while apologizing for his own actions. When the investigation is concluded, the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Honorable Anthony Sylvester, will advise the Prime Minister whether there has been any actionable wrongdoing on the part of the minister. Until such time, Prime Minister John Briceño will hold over Perez's portfolio duties. Today, while we had the opportunity, we asked Senior Minister of Government Oscar Requena to weigh in on the matter and to give insight as to when Perez will return to Cabinet.
Because you're also firm part of Cabinet, Mr. Andre Perez has been off the radar for a while now since the scandal broke involving him and somebody else. When is he due back in Cabinet?
I am not sure about the exact date, but as you're aware, he did request from the Prime Minister, time of leave of absence, and I guess as soon as that is up, he's going to be back in Cabinet.
For a country diverse in flora and fauna with numerous rivers flowing throughout its corridors, Belize is satisfyingly a blessed sovereign country. Though that is a fact, thousands of Belizeans are still not at liberty to sound off that they are connected to a safe potable water system. That, however, is changing a community at a time under the Briceño administration. Today, 3 ministers, accompanied by various ministerial employees, gathered in San Pablo village in the Orange Walk district to celebrate the introduction of water meters to the twin communities of San Pablo and San Jose. Our team was present, and Elmer Cornejo shared with us the details of the project in the following story.
Belize is notably hugged by the Caribbean Sea. Its jungles and forests stream fresh waters, making it the closest to paradise in the region, if not the world. Still, the country has its shared list of issues related to the use and management of water resources. This is very much the story in every other village, even though they may have a potable water system, and added to that, it is an imminent fact that climate change is disrupting water management in Belize and around the world exponentially, creating a threat to people accessing clean running water from their taps. This is about to change for the villages of San Pablo and San Jose in the Orange Walk district after a $70,000 donation in water meters was handed over to San Pablo Water Board earlier today.
We're very happy to be here in San Pablo today making this donation of 200 meters to a value of $70,000 that is going to benefit both communities, San Jose and San Pablo. This is part of the rehabilitation of the water system that occurred a couple months ago. Of course, during that rehabilitation, there were still insufficient meters, and we saw it necessary, to contribute, to the continued works here in San Jose and San Pablo, and that is why we are donating these 200 meters today.
200 meters is about 25% of the 1,000 customers that are connected to the system. Right. So how do we get the others connected? Well, certainly this is still not sufficient, but we are working very closely with the water boards. We're encouraging them that they ensure that they collect the water fees, and we're asking the consumers, the customers, to pay their water bills so that the water board can secure the rest of meters and ensure that everybody has a meter to their homes. While hurricanes and other disasters play a real threat in accessing and keeping potable water running, having metered system in these 2 villages will create a shared responsibility for every drop of water that runs out of the tap, says the Minister of Rural Transformation, Community Development, Labor and Local Government, Oscar Requena. On the other end, the ministry will train those at the helm of the water board in order to successfully carry out business. Meters are very important because it is part of ensuring that there is an equitable and fair distribution of water, that you pay for what you use, and at the same time it also helps to conserve water, because if people have meters, they are going to be more careful in how they use water. And we all know that climate change is a reality. The water table is drying up, water sources are drying up, so as Belizeans,
we must be responsible in how we use and conserve water.
The water board, will they be, I don't know, trained in relation to billing
Absolutely.
people and kind of stuff?
Absolutely. Governance of water boards, training of water boards is a very important aspect of the work that we do at the ministry. And, all water boards across this country have undergone training, and we continue to work with them directly. So if there is a water board in a particular community that feels that they want the support of our ministry, we stand ready to come in and to work with them and to support them to ensure that, we take them through the process in terms of, managing financially the system for the community, because at the end of the day, the system is owned by the community. In this case, it's both communities. So if the system does well, they are able to save money. Whatever monies they save, they can use that money for the continued development of these communities.
And will the ministry be coming back to San Pablo just to make sure that the training given to the water board is actually working?
Absolutely. There's always a follow-up for us. We have our CDOs, our rural development officers, in all districts. And part of their responsibility is to ensure that on a monthly basis, they meet with the water boards, they go through their financials, ensure that wherever there is need for support, whether it is in terms of managing the system, in terms of managing the books and so on, or whether it is to, if there is a, disrepair of the water system, or if we need to drill a new well, whatever the case may be, we are here to support our communities.
You also spoke about metering water also allows for the conservation of water.
Very, very important, because people are going to be more conscious of how they use water. If you don't have a meter, you're going to open the tap and you're going to let it run. But if you have a meter, you know that that meter is clocking, it's spinning. And of course, you're going to be careful in how you manage your water.
If it conserves its resources, water can lead to savings, which can then translate to more opportunities for residents, according to the San Pablo Village Chair.
San José San Pablo Water Board, juntamente con la comunidad de San José y San Pablo, está agradecido por esta donación que se hizo por parte del gobierno. Esta donación lo estábamos esperando por mucho tiempo, ya que pues se necesitan los meters para instalar a nuestros consumidores y así para tener una más contabilidad clara con las finanzas del Water Board, ¿no? Y eso va a ayudar bastante porque ya que más gente se va a beneficiar a este programa de meters y pues con este vamos a tener un control de agua mejor, ya que sabemos que debemos de cuidar la agua, ¿no? Y eso es algo que siempre recordamos a los consumidores, que cuiden el agua, es muy importante y que lo usen adecuadamente. La consulta con los consumidores, esto ha sido desde 2016, desde cuando el proyecto se fue aprobado por CIF y parte del gobierno de Belice, y empezamos la consulta con los consumidores, con las dos comunidades. A primer instante no estaba muy aceptado, ya que pues no sabían todo de lo que iba a venir y todo lo que iba a ser con el proceso nuevo, la implementación de los meters en las aldeas, ¿no? Pero a través del tiempo la gente va entendiendo que es mejor tener el meter instalados en sus casas, ya porque van a tener más control del uso del agua y también pues vamos a ver que el agua se va a usar adecuadamente, porque anteriormente nos quedábamos sin agua y yo era uno de los consumidores en mi área, por ejemplo, tenía que esperar hasta las 12 de la noche a la 1 de la mañana para que pueda conseguir agua, para que pueda bañarme o usarlo para otras cosas. Y no solo yo, estaba afectado a más de 100 personas en esta área. Entonces, ya viendo que tenemos el control de agua y que el agua se usa adecuadamente, y esto va a beneficiar bastante a las comunidades de San José y San Pablo.
As for the area representative for Orinjoak North, he is glad the program has reached San Pablo and San Jose villages, even at a time when climate change is causing havoc in other countries, depriving residents from clean, potable water.
Importance of having meters, I think one basic one, an important one is, as Minister Kenya had mentioned, is that it makes it equitable in that people will pay according to their consumption. And that same line, the people should become more conservative about the use of water, because as we know, the water table is lowering. Water is getting scarcer. You know, there are other countries that have problems getting water. So it's very important that we inculcate in each one of us the idea that we must conserve and preserve water for us, for the rest of our lives, and for the future generations to come.
You are the area representative for this area of Orange Walk North. So while some may say metering water is okay, there's those who live in the poverty line that would say, but I can't even afford that. What do you tell them?
Well, that would be I think the water board. They make decisions based on regarding those matters. Yes, I wouldn't want to get into there because it is they that get together. They do make allowances for people that are really, really poor. They do make allowances for certain segments.
The 200 meters handed over today will allow 25% of the 1,000 customers to have metered potable water in their homes. Elmer Cornejo, CTV3 News.
Earlier today, water meters were also handed over to the August Pine Ridge Water Board. The tribute to Belizean patriots was held at the Belize Auditorium last night. The event recognizes Belizeans who have made a positive impact in Belize and her people. The Governor General Froila Zalam presided over the event, and a total of 25 persons were recognized for their contributions to the development of country. The awardees are as follows: Order of Belize, Honorable Jimmy Carter, former United States President, in recognition of his distinguished record of friendship and support to Belize. Honorable Gwendolyn Lizarraga for contributions to community service. In the area of Order of Distinction, we have Father Leo Weber, SJ, for contributions to education. Then we go on to the Female Meritorious Service Award, which was bestowed to Lilia Bowman for contributions to community service. Ignacia Arana for contributions to education. Myrtle Palacio for contributions to community and public service. Maria Chang for contributions to community service and business. Neria Pickard for contributions to culture, cuisine, and entrepreneurship. Jane Lucario for contributions to education. Claudette Halls for contributions to community service. Anita Zib for contributions to education. Ophelia Chiak for contributions to community service. Eliza Arnold for contributions to sports, and Olga Gordon for contributions to community service. For the Male Meritorious Service Award saw the following awardees: Alan Sharp for contributions to sports, Dr. Kevin Guerra posthumously for contributions to the medical field and COVID-19 pandemic, Dr. Kenneth Guerra posthumously for contributions to the medical field and COVID-19 pandemic, Eugenio A. for contributions to the environment, Basilio Novello for contributions to education, Dr. Gregorio Garcia for contributions to the medical field, Dion Flowers posthumously for contribution to sports, Ewart Garbot for contributions to the environment, Thomas Oliver for contributions to education, Narciso Torres for contributions to the environment, and Walter Brown for contributions to community and public service. Prime Minister John Brisegna spoke largely on Jimmy Carter, who contributed tremendously to the Belizean people.
I want to really thank our incredible awardees that have been here with us this evening. And Rosanna and I join in thanking all of you for your tremendous work and your service to our nation. Your life's work is a shining example of nation building, and I thank you all on behalf of our grateful nation. Last year, we announced that we had awarded the Order of Belize to His Excellency, former President Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States. Circumstances would not provide for the former president or someone from his family to be here last year. But tonight, we're happy to have with us the former President Carter's daughter, Amy, here with us tonight to receive this award on his behalf. The 39th President of the United States, James Earl Carter Jr., is universally admired as a humanitarian and a promoter of human rights, an effort for which he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. He traveled extensively to conduct peace negotiations, monitor elections, and advance disease prevention and eradication in developing nations. The first and only U.S. president to visit Belize, Jimmy Carter is known locally as a man of peace, a strong proponent of democracy, and a builder of homes for the needy. In 1986, during a meeting chaired by former U.S. Presidents Jimmy Carter and Gerald Ford, the Council of Freely Elected Heads of Government was formed. The objectives were to reinforce democracy in the Americas, promote multilateral efforts to resolve conflict in the hemisphere, and advance regional economic cooperation. It was this kind of work that led the Right Honorable George Press to join in the effort, becoming the vice chairman of the council. Together, Carter and Press took part in election missions in the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Panama, to name a few. In 1984, along with his wife and former First Lady Rosalynn, former President Carter launched the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter Work Project.
A second notable recognition of the night was that of Gwen Lizarraga. The PM took time to highlight Lizarraga's work in Belize City.
I love her for her remarkable contribution to Belize. She is known to many simply as Madame Liz, but indeed, Gwendolyn Lizarraga was born in Rascal Village on July 11, 1901. A graduate of St. Catherine's Academy, Madame Liz was a mother, an activist, politician, businesswoman, a successful chicle and mahogany contractor. Unlike the typical woman of the early 1900s, she wore pants, carried a gun, publicly smoked cigarettes, and even drove a Land Rover. Before her political career, she formed the United Women's Group to assist women in unfortunate conditions and help the sick and the poor. Madame Liz was the co-founder of United Women's Credit Union, and even if a woman could only afford 25 cents per week, she encouraged them to save. Madame Liz was first elected in 1961, and became the Minister of Education, Housing, and Social Services, representing the Pixoc Division. She was the first woman to be elected to the National Assembly and the first woman minister. In her second term in 1965, she served again with the same portfolio and assisted women and people in acquiring their housing lots. And there's so many stories about Madame Liz. And there's one in particular that touched me, that she was talking to Premier Price at that time, trying to get land for women, for the women that she knew in her constituency. And Mr. Price was not moving quickly enough with her request. So one day she took a group of women here out to the outskirts of the city, and with a piece of string, they measured and said, okay, this is your land, this is your one, and she literally gave the land to these women without any papers. To this day, that's done as Madam Biz, right? To this day, when we're visiting these areas, like in the Collet division, I still meet some families, and I remember this last time during the 2020 campaign, I arrived in a house, and the lady was telling me, you see this house I am? I said, Madam Liz, give me this land.
The National Honors and Awards Act 1991 provides that each year on Independence Day or at such other times as may be deemed expedient, honors and awards may be conferred on persons living or deceased who have rendered outstanding and meritorious service to Belize, or who have distinguished themselves in other endeavors worthy of national recognition. Coming up next, we take you to the center of Orange Walk Town for the Masters of the Road competition. Stay tuned.
Buenos días. 2 boletos para Kikakar, por favor. ¿Ida y vuelta?
54. Este dinero es falso.
¿Falso?
Sí, este billete es falso.
¿Y por qué es falso?
Porque un verdadero billete de $50 tiene una marca de agua en la forma de un jaguar con la marca de agua y electrotipia de denominación y un hilo de seguridad.
Conozca su dinero. Reconozca el billete falso al verlo. No se confíe en solo una de las características de seguridad. Busque la claridad y calidad de la impresión. Las líneas y el color impresos deben ser nítidas y claras. Sienta la calidad del papel y de la impresión levantada. Ponga el billete a la luz y observe. El hilo de seguridad avantanillada debe formar una línea completa cuando se pone a la luz. La marca de agua y la electrotipia de denominación, el Jaguar, es la marca de agua en los billetes de $100 y $50. El gigante dormido es la marca de agua en los billetes de $20, $10, $5 y $2. El registro perfecto. Las partes del diseño impreso en la parte posterior deben caber exactamente dentro de las áreas sin imprimir en el frente del billete para formar el diseño completo. Revise los billetes de $100 para saber si está el holograma del tucán con la impresión sobrepuesta de la flor de vinca per vinca. Inclínelo para ver las imágenes pequeñas del tucán y el numeral 100. Revise los billetes de $50 para saber si está la imagen del pez ángel en color verde plateado. Mira más cerca. Utilice luz ultravioleta para ver los elementos fluorescentes. Utilice una lupa para ver las letras más pequeñas que leen Central Bank of Belize y el valor del billete. Detenga la circulación de los billetes beliceños falsos. Pasa todas las falsificaciones a la policía inmediatamente. Es una ofensa criminal guardar o utilizar falsificaciones. Esté a salvo, esté seguro, conozca su dinero.
The Orange Walk Town Council presents the biggest rock show of the year, Saturday, September 16th at 8 p.m. on the Hypersounds Mega Stage on Arthur Street. 4 local bands, Zero Discipline, Abraxas, Legend, and back on the stage after 18 years, Some Dudes. Special presentations by Brownie, a tribute to Mr. P by an all-star local band. Invited band coming all the way from Mexico City. Brought to you by Wild Dog Food, the veteran band, Zach Soul. There is rock for everyone and you don't want to miss it. Saturday, September 16th, starting at 8 p.m. on Arthur Street. Sponsored by Wild Dog Food, Hypersounds, Digi1, Hotel de la Fuente, Caribbean Rubs, Belikin Stove, Nahil Mayab, Dinner House, The Food Court, Tan's Pizza, Lamanai Riverside Retreat, Sonprat, and Brimit, Belize.
With Express Plus, you can stream on the go or stream at home. Stream the latest movies, telenovelas, series, anime, or music videos from your favorite local artists. Sign up now with Centaur's Express Plus.
The fishing village of Sarteneja, located over the Corozal Bay, is currently witnessing the rehabilitation of their water system at a cost of $500,000. The investment program was launched during a ceremony held in the fishing village on September 8. According to the Ministry of Rural Transformation, the project seeks to safeguard the livelihood and well-being of the fishing community, which will ultimately see a growing tourism opportunity for the Sarteneja Alliance for Conservation and Development, SACD. Today, when we caught up with the Minister of Rural Transformation, Community Development, Labor, and Local Government, Honorable Oscar Requena, we asked him about the project.
Last week we were in Sarteneja. As I said in my opening statements, supporting, a complete rehabilitation for a new reverse osmosis system. $639,000 is going to be invested in that community. There's great potential. Today we are here. In the next hour, we are going to be in August Pine Ridge. And it is across this country because that is what Plan Belize calls for, to be out there to support our people, to work with them so that we can make life better for all Belizeans.
I want to reference back Sarteneja, sir, because it is a huge investment, but it is also a community that calls for tourism growth. So how does this, all this collaborate together to make it successful?
We're very happy that, we partner with PACT. PACT has been very supportive. In fact, most of the money is coming from PACT. We, as the Ministry of Rural Transformation, are also putting in our share. But certainly with the new highway, being completed all the way to Sarteneja, there is great potential for tourism. And that is why last week we had, several CEOs, CEO Solano from the Ministry of Tourism, CEO Williams from the Ministry of Sustainable Development, and other officials, because we all can agree on one thing, that Sarteneja has great potential. And we were particularly happy, to partner also with the Sarteneja Alliance for Conservation and Development. They were present there because we all recognize that when you bring development to the community, you create opportunity for economic development, the lives of the people are going to improve.
And the consultation process, sir, for this huge project with Sarteneja, how was it like and what are the thoughts of people?
Well, I must say that in terms of the consultation that was done through the Village Council and the Water Board, our RCDOs and our coordinators went in there, sat down with them, looked at what their needs are. So certainly, the whole design of the project came after a process of consultation and engagement with the community.
The project is being carried out in collaboration with Protected Area Conservation Trust, PACT. Once the project is completed in the next 12 months, some 3,000 residents stand to directly benefit to potable water. Exactly 1 month ago, on August 15, 2023, a memorandum of understanding was signed between the National Assembly of Belize and the Belize Archives and Records Service for the preservation of Belize's declaration to Belize's Declaration to Independence document. Prince Michael of Kent was the one that handed over the Belize's Declaration of Independence to the father of the nation, the Right Honorable George Cadle Price back in 1981. Since then, the document was protected and conserved until Marvin Pook, conservator at the Archives Department, saw it imperative to make the document known to all Belizeans. Today, that document, along with a collection of 12 speeches from the Honorable Price during his time as Premier from 1964 to 1981, was revealed to the public in a special event titled Let Belize Live Speeches of the Premier. It is a travel exhibit that also features the Instrument of Independence.
Today, I am honored that the National Assembly of Belize has contributed to the traveling exhibition of these speeches. This was made possible through the MOU with the Belize Archives and Records Service, which was signed just a month ago. These instruments that you will see include the Belize Act 1981, the statutory instruments of the Belize Independence Order, and the Constitution of Belize. It is these official documents that gave birth to Belize on September 21, 1981, 42 years ago. It is what made it official that Belize was no longer a colony and was free and independent to chart its own destiny. As Director Kevin Montero mentioned in one of our planning meetings in the early part of the summer, having the Instrument of Independence featured now in the traveling exhibition makes it complete. This, the official birth certificate, as it were, of our nation, is what the father of the nation championed and fought for, and as Premier, his many speeches spoke to, the right to self-determination and an independent Belize. In the Premier's address following the delivery of the Proclamation of Independence on September 21st, Premier George Price stated, and I quote, "As we become a member of world communities, we hear the question asked, what is Belize and its people, and how will they fit among you? In reply, Belize is a Caribbean and Central American nation which works and lives a revolution that is peaceful, constructive, new, progressive, and Belizean. It is our own with all our national attributes. Belize is a people with all the attributes of nationhood, having one flag, one government, one constitution. Our mind imbues the democratic process, our hand works the mixed economy, our heart beats with social justice, and our soul cherishes treasures of the spirit," end quote.
And on the 42nd birthday of Belize, the document is now available to the people of Belize who have long strived for self-governance. Also present at today's event was Minister of Education Francis Fonseca, who afforded some words of hope and encouragement to the nation.
All Belizeans will appreciate that the life and legacy of George Price is inextricably linked to our September celebrations, National Day, Independence. Obviously, George Price's footprints and fingerprints are all over these national celebrations. So we think of him all the time, but particularly during this month of celebrations. And so this exhibition, traveling exhibition that we launched in January of this year, we launched it at the George Price Center for Peace and Development in January. It's a traveling exhibition. We've been to Punta Gorda and we've been to Dangriga, and now we have it here in Belize City at the Museum of Belize. And it's all about, sharing with the Belizean people the writings, the speeches of the Premier, because these are speeches given before independence, when George Price was the Premier of Belize during his fight for self-government and independence. So it's critically important. It's great to see the young students here today from primary school and high school who, were born obviously long after independence. So it's important for us to promote and preserve this great history and to share it with these young people and to share it with researchers. So I think it's a great event. It's made even more significant today because for the first time as a part of the exhibition, we have the instruments of independence. Obviously it's a birth certificate for our country. And this document was locked away for 42 years in a drawer, really, in the office of the Clerk of the National Assembly. no fault of anyone. Just everyone felt that that was perhaps the safekeeping. It would be preserved there. But the truth is that it does belong in the National Archives and Records Service. And so we were very happy that through the initiative of the Speaker of the House, the President of the Senate, working along with the Belize Archives, we were able to sign an MOU that the actual instruments which are on display here today would be handed over to the archives for permanent keeping and safekeeping.
Belizeans are reminded that this year Belize celebrates its independence under the theme Hope Ignited, Hands United, Vision Renewed, Belize at 42. And if you would like to learn more about the document and the exhibition, it's available at Belize Archives and Records Service at number 26 Unity Boulevard in Belmopan City. The calendar of events leading up to the Grand Independence Day celebration here in Orange Walk Town continues in full swing. One of the season's most anticipated events took place this afternoon at the center of town as the annual Masters of the Road competition hosted by Muffles Junior College, MJC, took center stage. The event kicked off shortly after 3 p.m. with more than two-thirds of the entire student body of the junior college vying for the Master and Mistress of the Road 2023 crown. Participants ran a total of 2 laps around the designated race area in town, followed by the bicycle riding of an additional 3 and 5 rungs for females and males respectively.
Masters of the Road is definitely a big event for MJC. It's how we go about celebrating our September. We have this race, I think it's over more than 15 years we've been having this race. We had a different path and now we brought it here to town, and the Orange Walk Town Council has been so kind to assist us in having this race, but this is our way to celebrate.
Talk to us about the participation of the students this year in the event.
I'm so happy for our students. We had more than two-thirds of the school, right? Maybe next year we have to make the online students join in. But yes, we had over 200 students signing up. And if you consider turnout, the students are excited for Masters of the Road. The winners, it's always a mystery as to how much money they're going to get, because we do a collection, and right now we're going to find out exactly how much they won. We're asking them to count, but that's part of the prize. They win that. They also win a lanyard. You notice all MGC students wear a lanyard. Well, they will get a special one, that is Masters of the Road, that they can brag entire year. They get a T-shirt, and not only prizes here, but you know, we always try to big them up as much as possible.
In addition to an increase in involvement from students, the competition has also become one of the highlights of the September celebrations as a signature event from the district's only junior college.
We are in a festive mood, and this is the way, you know, we try to bring it here for the citizens of Orange Walk Town, and we open the invitation to everybody to participate, to come and see, to come and cheer on the students, and it's a fun way for a safe, fun, you know, alcohol-free, you know, way to celebrate.
After several grueling laps around town, Nelly Padilla was crowned Mistress of the Road, while Aiken Aguilar placed first place to officially become the Master of the Road 2023. For Nelly, while the race was difficult to overcome, being crowned the champ made up for all the hard work.
I feel very happy, very excited, because I never thought I would achieve this race.
How difficult was it for you?
Yeah, it was a little bit difficult. I thought I would never do it, but I like to achieve it.
Did you train before trying to complete it?
Yes, I am, because I do work out, I play football, that's why.
As an incentive for their participation in the race, winners received cash prizes as well as other small tokens and prizes on behalf of the school. Second place for the male and female categories were awarded to Derwin Torres and Natisha Wade, and placing third for the male and female were Dyrone Guerra and Corrales Perez. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, September 15th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.